3 of our oral obsession conversation. Thank you so much for being here. If you've enjoyed these lives, please let me know in the comment section how much you've enjoyed it, how much you've learned from these. I want to know. Tell me all about it in the comment section. So we are talking about listening and responding, and this is the whole oral obsession, how to really master this, how to be really good at oral. Why? Because oral makes the world go round. No, when it really comes to her pleasure, this is one of those beautiful novelty experiences that you can give her, and it's novelty when you can do it right. And so that's why we're here, is so that when you are in between her legs and you are in what I call the holy of holies, when you are there, are you doing a really good job? Mo Rick, I'm so glad you're here. Hi, Doug. Hi, Javier. Hi, Jeffrey from Texas. Hey, Donnie Powell. Oh my God, I love watching you so much. I've learned so much from you. Donnie, thank you for that feedback. Anytime I get comments like this or emails that you guys send me, it really touches me. I love hearing that my work is impacting your life. Hi, Michael. So glad you're here. So we are talking about listening and responding. We're talking about mastering oral. And the first 2 days, just quick recap what we talked about. On the first day, we talked about technique. And I'm going to walk you through how all of this ties in together, because I really want you guys to understand this. I really want you to be the masters at this. And sorry, but my nails, I painted them and then I started cooking my lunch. Guess what I have? If you're from Texas, Alan Springsteen from Texas. You know, I'm a Texas girl. So I was in the middle of making my steak and taters and I messed up my nails. So I have to repaint those. Thank you, Ninja Wolf. He says, very interesting. Michael B says, could you demonstrate live? Why? Do you have a vagina for me to demonstrate on? But you didn't expect me to say that. Hi, sports writers. So the first day, we talked about technique. And technique's super important because here's the thing. I had said that another sex expert, sex person said, you know, like the technique wasn't as important, but it really is. And he was saying like, all you need to do is make a woman feel safe. And safety is really important. Don't get me wrong on that. But she can feel safe as ever with you. But if you still go down on her and you don't know what the hell you're doing, and you're taking her vagina and you're like licking like, ah, and it has no rhyme, it has no reason, there's no rhythm to it, it's not an enjoyable experience for her. So the technique is really important. That's what we talked about on the first day. And I helped you guys out with that. I said, you know, you can get that oral obsession. It's on my website, Arica-Angelo.com. I never could figure out how to put the link in the comment section here, so sorry about that. That's annoying. Hi, Eric Daniels. Hi, Elijah. He says, yay, I love you kids. Thank you so much. I love to think of my girl while listening to you. Oh, that's exciting. I love that you do that. Hi, Kevin. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, technique, super important. That's what we talked about on the first day. Yesterday, we talked about variety, because here's the thing. Once you start learning technique and you get really good at it, right? And then you bring her pleasure and you're like, whoo, okay, she likes this one thing. Like, this is the spot she really likes. So this is what I'm going to keep doing. But what happens is when you keep doing the same thing, she gets bored with it. She starts going, okay, this is the rhythm. This is his go-to. This is what he does. And then what happens is when we have success somewhere, what do we want to do? We want to keep repeating that because we want to see her same expression. We want to see the orgasm. We want to see the pleasure. We want to hear her screaming out our name. We want to see her gripping the sheets. We want to see all those things. But the problem is if you keep doing those same techniques without any variety, then the sex gets old, it gets boring, it gets stale, it gets complacent. And so that's why it's so important to master these techniques that I share with you in my oral mastery. But also it's knowing that there are so many things that you can do with it. And I teach you all the variety that you can do in my tongue magic. adjusting the pressure, adjusting how you use your tongue, all of those things. When you bring that variety to her body, that keeps things exciting with you. Just want to come back to the comment section. Elijah, hi. Will Hill, Janice and I are together and she wants me to get a trophy for best ever. I love that. Lee, thank you so much, darling. Donnie Powell, can I get one-on-one messages and advice from you? Unfortunately, I do not offer coaching anymore. I do have a coaching package on my page, but it's crazy expensive. So I'm so sorry that I do not do one-to-one anymore. I've been doing this for 17 years. And to be really honest, I just got super burnt out coaching. So that's why I focus on my online courses. That's why you hear me talking about my online courses. That is my form of business now, is my online courses, because with the coaching, I did get pretty burnt out after 17 years of it. Hi, Thomas. Okay, so let's talk about the exciting part, which is listening and responding. And this is really exciting. Why? Because there's something so beautiful about hearing a woman moan during her orgasm, hearing a woman moan and get turned on when you're going down on her, when you're fingering her, all those things. When you hear her getting excited, that is one of the most euphoric experiences as a man. I know for some men, they get more hard, they get more turned on, they want to go even further. They want to go the distance. They want to make her come, not just at one time, but over and over again, anything they can, just to hear her say those things, to say you're the man, to call you daddy, to hear her scream and moan, to grip the sheets. Like, as a man, that's like such a powerful experience, knowing that it was you that brought her that experience. So listening for that and then responding is super important. But here is the thing. Some women, and I'm just gonna be really honest with you, if they are not making any noise whatsoever, there are some women who are a little bit more on the quiet side, but when a woman is being quiet, I promise you this, it's not going well. It's typically not going well. You're not hitting the spots the way that turn her on. So it's really important that we want to hear her making noises. And we don't want it to be performative, obviously, because, like the porn, some women, have learned from women from porn, and men have that expectation of, well, you're not like screaming like this and you're not screaming like that. And so there's that pressure on a woman. No, we want genuine screams. We want genuine moans. We want to hear that genuine sensual pleasure. So if you're listening and she's not making any of those noises, that's when it's super important to go back to what we talked about yesterday, which is variety. You can change it up, try some different techniques until you hear her go, she makes that moan or the body clenches. It's going back to those other varieties, and that's why I have in the Oral Mastery, I've got stuff in Oral Mastery, it's on Arica-Angelo.com, but you can go to giving her oral, you can go to fingering, you can even try to make her squirt. You can do all of those things for her. But if she's not making any noise, then you know that it's time to go back to step 2 and what I've been sharing these 3 days, which is that sense of variety, changing it up. Because why? Every woman's body is different. And it's like I said, it's like that John Legend song, your body is a wonderland, because every woman's body is going to be different. And you, my dear, you hold the keys to her bliss. In fact, in the comment section, would you just write, I hold the keys, because you truly do. And that's what makes it so exciting when she does start screaming, when she does start moaning, knowing that it was because of you that you gave her that sense of pleasure. So when you see her gripping the sheets, when you see her clenching, when you hear her moaning, that's when whatever you're doing You want to keep doing that and just turn up the volume just a little bit more. So if you're licking her, continue to lick, but maybe with a little bit more pressure. Maybe increase the speed, start going a little bit faster with your tongue. When she starts responding, it's not the time to go, oh, well, now I think I will, go a little bit slower now. It's like, no, no, no. If it's working, do what you're doing, but increase it just a little bit more. Or if she starts screaming out, more, 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 harder. Like, that's the beauty. I think that that's when women actually start getting communicative, is when every guy like gripes about this. It's like, I wish women were more communicative in the process. But I think the more she gets turned on, the more communicative she's going to be. So if she's in that moment and she's in bliss and she's just moaning and screaming and the sheets are being pulled and her knees are buckling around your head, they're tightening your head. And when she's doing all of those things and you see her responding in that way, in that moment, she's going to become vocal. More than likely, she's going to say, more and more, or faster or harder, or deeper, or finger me or penetrate me. That's when she's going to get more vocal. So it's really important that you are, even though, and I know it's a lot going on there, if you're like going down on her and you're fingering her at the same time and also like trying to pay attention to her, there's a lot of maneuvering that is going on there. But trust me, the more you do this, you're going to get into a rhythm. You're going to start feeling it more instead of having to think about it or planning it out. You're going to just feel it naturally. You're going to get so connected with her. There's going to be this union between the two of you that it will establish this rhythm, and you'll know exactly what to do with her. But until you get to that point, it's really important that you listen, and that from listening you respond. So if you're listening and if she's not making any noise, she's kind of in starfish mode, then you know to do what? You go back to step 2. You go back to variety. You change it up. You're like, okay, maybe I'm licking her a little bit too soft. Maybe I need to increase the pressure. Maybe I need to go to her clitoris instead of just the labias. Maybe I need to put a finger in now. Maybe, it's like, okay, what in that whole oral mastery that I have on my website, Arica-Angelo.com, which of these techniques do I need to try? Because you're mastered the techniques from the first video. Which of these techniques do I need to try out on her? And then listen to her response. If she says more, then that means more pressure. It means to go a little bit faster. Now, she may even ask for you to back off a little bit. Like maybe it's too intense for her. And so she's like, not so hard. Like maybe you give her a little nip and it was too hard. And then she's like, not too much. So then that's when you can reel it back. This is all about listening and responding. So if it's a little too much for her, then you can reel it back. And that's when you can give her a nice, gentle touch. Like she's just a sweet little kitty. And you begin to just lick her very softly. And then that's when you just back off a little bit until she adjusts to a new sort of rhythm. So listening and responding, you guys, is muy, muy, muy importante. And I would love to know from you guys, do you have any questions about how a woman responds or doesn't respond that you've always wondered about? You're like, I'm really curious, like, why do women do this? Now is your chance to ask those questions. Remember, you can get that oral mastery. It's got tongue magic, it's got squirting, it's got an intimate conversation with me and my friends where we talk about the real behind the scene truth about what goes on during oral. You can get all of that on my website at Arica-Angelo.com. Okay, while you guys are submitting questions to me right now, I am going to read your comments. Johnny Powell, I love this. He says, I could do that all day and wouldn't ask for anything in return. Really? You wouldn't want a blowjob in the end? I think I would be a little more selfish if I were a guy back. Okay, listen. My jaws, my tongue can do no more. I need you to go downtown for me. Edward says, oh my gosh, yes, the sounds a woman makes. I know, they're so beautiful. It's so erotic. All right, reading through the chat. Yes, Jeffrey Boosie. John Mayer. Yes, Donnie Powell says, I remember so much that the buildup is a major key. Edward says, hold the key, my sweet. I even designed the handcuffs. That's hot. That's hot. Lee says, yes, reading her body language is the map to learning to love her and her body. Everyone is different, right? Yeah, it's true. Every single woman's body is going to be different. Jeffrey says, it's a good thing when her pitch drops from high squeaky to a lower guttural one, more animalistic and true. Yes, that is really powerful. And that to me, when a woman starts making those guttural noises, it shows the different side of her. It shows like that dark side of her. It shows that warrior side of her, because I think, everyone thinks that as women it's just sweet and flowery, but women also have a very warrior-like side. And when you hear those guttural moans, it's like the belly of it all. And it's just like you can get into that intensity that she has inside of her. You can unlock that. Hi, Abhay Kumar. He says, you are beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for that. Will Hill, Janice is kidding. That's amazing. Doug says, and the underside of the tongue can be smoother than the top. True. Edward says, does it mean what I think it does when after being asked if she came or if you were the best, she blushes, buries her head in the covers, and calls you a smug bastard? It can mean two things. It can mean she doesn't want to tell you that you're not the best, and so she's trying to tell you something different. But typically, if you are the best, let me just say, you'll never have to ask that. Most of the time, a woman will tell you that. So you won't even have to ask. Let's see. Elijah says, my phone's on 1. Please make more streams later. I love your videos. Oh, thank you. Donnie, a marriage proposal. Erica, I want to marry you. Whoa, love it. Yes, Thomas, I'm, of course, hydrating. Edward says, I like asking because I like the blushes. Yeah, it is kind of sweet and enduring when you see a woman blush like that, because it brings out that sweet essence. It brings out that feminine side in her that we don't get to see in women too often. And it's something that I think society's missing out on, is seeing that flowery side of women, because there's nothing like it. It's super elegant. So remember, guys, if you need any direction with this stuff, go to my website, Arica-Angelo.com, and you can get the oral mastery there. So just to recap again, we are talking about listening and responding to her body. And the first live that we did, we talked about technique and why it's so important to know what you're doing. Just don't show up at her holy land, her vagina, and then not have a roadmap and just be like, I'm just gonna wing this. Trust me, that is never the time. You can wing things all through life, but when you're going down on a woman, that is not the time to start winging things. No, you want to have techniques. You want to take tongue magic. You want to study it. You want to practice on your hand, practice on a peach, practice on your pillow, whatever you need to practice on your fist, whatever. But you want to have some experience with the technique. And then the second is, once you get those techniques, it's learning how to change up the variety. And when do you insert different variety is when she starts either moaning for more, or she's enjoying it, so you increase it a little bit more, or if she's saying nothing at all, then my darling, that's the time to change it up. Go to another technique, give her something a little bit different. I love you guys so much. I'm so glad that you guys all showed up for this live. These are really nice to do with you guys. It's been a very long time since I've done this, and so it's been so nice connecting with you guys. Donnie Powell says, anything different I need to do if she wants to straddle my face? Yeah, that's a good one, because there are women who really, really, really love that. So when she's on top of your face, what you want to do, like she's on you, her thighs are on each side of you. What you want to do is grab on the back of her ass and kind of dig your claws, your fingers into her ass and kind of pull her, because she still wants to feel that you're in control. She still wants to feel that like masculinity. It's a little bit weird when you dominate a man and then he kind of shrinks into his like just being feminine. It's a strange feeling. It's okay for a moment, but we eventually want you to get back into your masculine. So when she's straddling you, if you can like take her hips or take her ass and just kind of hold onto her body, and you're demonstrating to her in that moment that you are still in control, that you're in charge, that you're the alpha, that you're the masculine in that moment. And when you can kind of grind her hips into your face, that is really, really sexy. Really, really sexy, guys. Don't forget, Arica-Angelo.com. Get that oral mastery. Any last questions before I sign off and say goodbye to you guys? Thank you, Mo. He says, you look great as always. Thank you, darling. Thank you, Doug. Doug says, you are the best, Arica. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate you guys and your very generous words of affirmation. Okay, guys, I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. Love to you, Donnie. And that you do something for yourself, but more importantly, that you practice this stuff that you've learned the past 3 days. Sorry, Elijah Max says, how about starting? How about starting out intimately? I don't know what you mean. What about start? I mean, typically you want to start kissing her on the lips, on the neck, moving through the body before you get to the oral area. Oh, thank you, Dempsey. He says your coaching is the best. Thomas says, I know you talked about temperature change yesterday. I was thinking of using a cool breath mint like icebreakers instead of ice. I also, let's see, heard that this crazy idea of putting lifesavers on her nipples. Yeah, I mean, chocolate, whipped cream, anything to change temperature, to change the texture, honey, like all of that stuff is super, super exciting. Edward says, hope the business shift is going well. You do look edible in that part undone shirt dress. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. And I hope that you get the oral mastery. I hope you get the tongue magic on Arica-Angelo.com. Have a wonderful weekend. I love you guys so very much. And make sure, to Mo's point, that you like and subscribe. You guys, I will see you in my next video. Don't forget, I just released a video over an hour and a half ago. So if you've even gone to my YouTube, Arica-Angelo.com, there is a video playing right now. So guys, I love you so much and I will see you soon. Take care. Remember, everybody.